Hello and welcome, everybody. This is episode 20 of the Collective Minds podcast. Today we got me, Austin, Jay, and Willis.
What you talk about, Willis?
All right. So, yeah. Did you see that conversation of Klaus Schwab telling Joey Biden that he's like one of the best like workers or having the most involvement or whatever it was to the economic forum?
I missed it. Wait. Klaus Schwab?
Yeah, it's him and his voice telling like
Biden?
Yeah, telling Joe Biden that he's like was a good boy and that he's done like the most work for the World Economic Forum.
Wow, he must be doing really good shrooms or something.
Something. It just makes you think like, what happened there? And then the whole dossier shit that's going on this week with good old Hillary.
Yeah, I think she's next. She's right next in line with Epstein. I mean,
oh yeah,
that guy.
I mean, I have a personal vendetta against her. I think she's a blood-sucking witch from hell, in my opinion. Might mean it literal, might not. Leave that up.
She's a female bulldog.
Yeah, she's definitely something with the whole frazzle drip conspiracy and all the other stuff in between, especially with her husband riding with Epstein. And who knows, maybe Bill Clinton was actually Hillary's Ghislaine. Like how Epstein had Ghislaine, maybe Hillary's Ghislaine was Bill too, because I know she runs the show. He doesn't run shit, honestly, looking at it. But and then we still got the honking going on. Trudeau pushing down on the all the BS on that, like it's China up there taking over that.
Yeah, about that bank thing he did, taking away with the access to people's banks if you donated. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, they're releasing the damn people's information and everything.
Well, that was the donation to that Bitcoin account, but like regular people's account, they're preventing them from withdrawing like money.
I thought Give-Send-Go got hacked though, and they're like releasing people's personal information, like socials.
Yeah, that's separate. Yeah.
Oh, separate. It happened. So Bitcoin. What happened with the Bitcoin?
So that
I haven't heard about that.
That website is like a cryptocurrency GoFundMe version, and they're accepting Bitcoin for the truckers. So they get hacked, and then their information is being I guess out in the open for people to see. And I forget which news network, CBC in Canada. One of the reporters were going through the list of emails or contacts, and they're trying to reach out to them, asking them why did they donate, kind of thing. Basically, like harassing.
Yeah, that's weird. It's really weird. I don't know how they are getting away with that. It's got to be federal, is my idea on it. It's got to be federal government doing it, not like personal hackers or whatever.
I think it's China. I mean, not China. It's not China. YouTube, it's not China.
What?
I said I think it's China.
Oh, you think China's probably helping them do it? Yeah. Looking at Trudeau, he does look like a little puppet for China.
But YouTube, if you're listening, it's not China.
Oh yeah, YouTube, if you're listening, it's definitely not China. Go China. We love you, China. China number one. China's so number one that they fucking cheat at the Olympics.
Oh my God, Austin.
It's true. They're cheating at the Olympics. They I don't know if the guy was like Iranian or something, but they like they said, "Oh no, you cheated," because he like pulled forward, and they were making a joke. I saw that It's not illegal that he pulled forward. It's legal that he pulled forward in front of a Chinese contender. So
That's
they're like,
racist.
yeah, huh, I know. That fucked up. So like, of course, the Olympics is done. I mean, I've never really watched it before. I think, especially Winter Olympics, I'm really not into. But I guess any of it, honestly, like good for them, good for athletes. But I don't know. It's just weird thinking about think like training for like one short event like that for years and years and years, and like that's your thing. Which I guess it's cool, but you know, it only lasts what, a couple seconds. I don't know.
Yeah, supposedly it's the fame and stuff, but
Yeah,
you you get the gold medal, you're recognized for what, 2 years, and then you fade back into the background. You're unknown unless you bring up your gold medal. That's about it.
yeah, and some of them are like, I'm an Olympic whatever, and that's supposed to mean like super athlete, but I think some of it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of it does. A lot of it's physical. I think a lot of it's just like being good at a game too, or being
Mhm.
good at something. Which good for them, but we shouldn't. I don't think we should have sent anybody over to China. And then that one girl, or I know of one, there might be more, that denounced their American citizenship and now are playing on China's side. There's that one girl and she kept crashing and shit and crying, or slipping and falling or something and crying about it. I think that's pretty hilarious. But yeah, in other news, nudes, everybody's got AIDS. Everybody's got HIV. Allegedly, it's coming up. Yes, I haven't seen these commercials, but I keep getting people coming up to me talking about it.
Them STDs.
Yeah, talking about HIV, all sorts of stuff. I'm not finding a whole lot news about it. Looks like kind of a cover up, actually. Yeah, look at that. Typed in HIV commercials, and it's for New York Times, and it's like Super Bowl commercials, Super Bowl commercials, Super Bowl commercials, Super Bowl commercials. Nothing about AIDS though. HIV advocacy. Prince Harry speaks out about carrying on mom Princess Diana's powerful legacy of HIV advocacy. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day was a week ago. Yeah, it looks like that's kind of being covered up too. They're just slipping it in there, which is interesting. Like when old people, watch TV, they get those weird commercials, and then because it's all tailored to your age and stuff, the commercials are. But yeah, it's very interesting that everyone is allegedly getting new HIV commercials, and what they're working on a mRNA HIV vaccine. Fuck, YouTube probably gonna take me off just for saying those words together like that. That's all
We
right.
love China. We love China.
We love China. China number one.
I love China a long time.
I love China a long time. I love China food better than Japanese food because you can taste the communism. And I love a communism. I love a dictatorship. Fuck, I'm probably gonna get assassinated for this shit. Nah, come get it, fuckers. All right. So today we're gonna talk about the survival stuff, because everyone needs to start getting their shit together if they haven't already, and we all need to educate each other and learn up on some stuff, because survival, I suppose, can come in at any time, anywhere, whether you're in the city, the woods, in between, whether you have a bunch of stuff prepared for survival or not, or even in between that, where you had a bunch of stuff and now you're 2 years into it and now you're living off the land. So I think this is going to be a sequence. We're going to do a bunch of these. I think we've agreed on to keep going with this model of into the podcast of like different layers and everything of different types of survival situations, and how and what to plan for, and how other people have done it, and how the right and wrong, and best options of survival are with what you do, how you do it, and the timing. But the first three things of like survival is obviously food, water, and shelter, right? We've all been told that forever. And then I'd throw fire into that too. I'd say fire, you know.
Fi-fi.
Yeah, fight. You definitely want that, because you could have a shitty ass shelter, and if you got a fire, you're pretty good. Food as well, it's good to cook it. And then depending on your water source, you also need it to boil your water, break down the bacteria and stuff. But because you could have all the food, you know, animals, which a lot of animals you can't eat, but honestly, we are not like cavemen anymore. You know, we're really big sissies, and our stomachs and immune systems obviously are sissified, especially for the maskers out there. 6 feet. But so most of us can't go out and just eat food. Like, we can't kill an animal and eat it raw. And it's a lot of survival situations people have resorted to, and their body gets used to it pretty quickly. But I don't think anyone wants to eat a raw squirrel, no matter what. And in starving situations, you usually eat the whole squirrel. You're not picky about it. You eat everything. If you're eating it raw, you're eating everything raw. Not a good idea. And then water, our bodies are not used to the water situation either, unless it's like purified and has all that good old fluoride in it and stuff. So people need to think about this. And then shelter's fine too. So this is where fire also comes into. Your shelter can be as good as you want it to be, but if you're in the middle of winter, I don't think it really matters how thick your shelter is. There's a good chance you're going to freeze to death without a fire. So with that being said, I started coming up with a little tool of like toolkit of things you definitely need. And then like with David Politis, I kind of just pulled it off of that too. But for starting out, for basic, to be able to create a shelter, you'd want like cutting tools to create fire. You're going to want waterproof strike anywhere matches, because lighters are good, but they'll run out. Matches, there's a lot more of them. And if you get good at using them, you're not going to waste them. And the idea too, when survival out in the woods, would be to keep a fire always going. You never want to extinguish it. But these are things you'd bring. A gun, of course, weapons, a gun, whatever, rifle, most likely. Unless you could carry more, then you're going to want a sidearm as well. Personal locator beacon. And this is for more if you're going out camping or anything in the woods, or anytime. Personal locator beacon, unless the world goes to shit and people are looking for you, don't get a personal locator beacon. Definitely not. And then you'll want layers of clothing. So those would be things to naturally pack in any situation where you may be. And of course, food for like, I don't know, however much food you could get. Depends. If you're bringing snacks, bring enough for a couple days to survive on at least.
High protein granola bars.
Mm-hmm.
Protein
Protein granola bars
for a good couple days.
Yeah.
If you can't hunt.
If you can't. Yeah. And that's more for whether you're lost in the woods for a few days trying to survive, whether you're like just bugging out real quick and don't have time to like load up a whole vehicle of supplies, and or if you're just going out hiking or something, it's good to have this kind of stuff on you, is what you'll want. So I wrote those down for that. Just a simple supply right there. But then I brought 2 stories to go off of on this. So which one? Okay, so one is a mountain climbing story, and then one is a guy sailing that's stranded out in the ocean. Give me 1 second real quick. All right. Getting everything situated here. So this one is shit. I might have you read one if I can. We'll see. We'll get in the chat. Were you gonna say something, Jay?
No.
Oh, okay. So this one's about a guy named Stephen Callahan. And this is the shipwreck story. So after successfully sailing across the Atlantic solo in his 6.5 meter sloop, Callahan started the trip home in January of 1981. The storm around his boat one evening didn't concern him, but the hole a whale or shark put in his boat's hole in the middle of the night amid the storm surely did. Great beginning. As the boat began to sink, Callahan repeatedly dove back into the sinking ship to grab survival gear. With food and water for a few days, Callahan clambered into a 6-foot circular raft adrift 800 miles west of the Canaries and heading farther from them at every moment. Callahan finished with a spear gun and made water with a solar still. At day 14, he signaled to a passing ship. It kept on passing. After a month, he drifted out of shipping lanes. By day 50, he was covered in sores from the salt water, struggling with dehydration in the tropical waters, and struggling to patch a hole in his raft. Exhausted, and after losing a third of his body weight, Callahan was finally spotted by some fishermen off the coast of Guadalupe as birds and fish circled his raft. Forging the fish guts he tossed back into the sea, he'd been adrift for 76 days. So that's, yeah, a good solid 2.5 months there.
Yep.
So that is a long ass time to be on the ocean. Imagine the nightmares. I think that's a good part of survival too, is your mental strength, your mental ability to focus on surviving and nothing else. Obviously, he was at that situation at that point, but so with this, so he had a spear gun, and there was things like to learn about it is that you don't use the spear gun when sharks are around. You don't try to get the biggest fish you can get, especially like in his situation. He was in a raft, much less a sinking raft, a slowly sinking raft, because the fish can, adds more weight, can flop around, cause a lot of stuff. And I think the bigger fish can actually hold more parasites in it. And then the fun fact I learned was that fish further from the shore typically do not have parasites and other things that would make you sick. So if you were unable to cook the fish, you could eat them raw safely out there.
Right.
Interesting fact. And then he used the solar still, which is like a hanging plastic sheet. So it could be like a tarp or whatever you could make out of that would hold condensation. And he hung it on top, and you'd have like a heavy object on each side and then something lighter in the middle. So it dips down in a V. And then you'd have like a big bucket to catch the condensation. And then on each side, you'd probably use like buckets of salt water, or vegetation is really well, like works really well. So you could, if whatever plants you'd see out in the ocean, if you saw any, you could throw it in there too. But that must have been a hot, dry, salty situation. And you want to stay out of the salt water because it messes you up. Plus, it also absorbs the water out of your skin and will dehydrate you. For that one.
I was thinking about the nights. It's really cold out there, especially surrounded by water.
Yeah, and you're soaking wet.
Yeah.
With the mist and yeah. Crazy, man. Especially if you're like taking on water like that. Slowly but surely. So this guy was like soaking wet, I'm sure. Crazy. Yeah. Freaking crazy. And he was using the fish guts for bait and stuff. And you can also catch birds out there. Like I think not sure if he was, but you can catch birds out there with the fish guts as well.
So how did he survive?
He had a spear gun. Sounds like he was eating raw fish. And I don't know if you missed it, but you can eat raw fish. Most raw fish out there, out in the middle of the ocean, away from land, don't have like.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, the bad stuff in them. And also most of the poisonous fish out there like in the ocean are close to land as well.
They would get like, well, depending where he is, might get good tuna, swordfish.
Yeah. I don't know. That's wild.
The thing that gets me is, did he collect enough water to
What do you mean?
survive?
What do you mean water? Like, because you can't drink the salt water?
Yeah. So what Austin said was he created like a solar still where basically it's condensation in the air that's collected into that little tarp. And then it, I guess, falls down into like a bucket.
I mean, it rains a lot over the ocean, I feel like. So I'm sure he did, you know? Like,
That's
get
true
quite a
too.
bit.
That would be a good idea. His raft was, I don't know how many buckets he had. He got supplies, but his raft was like leaking and sinking as well. So I don't know. I'd have to look more into it, but the more like points of this survival story was well, also that you can make a hook out of pretty much anything metal. And when fishing in the ocean or lakes or anything, at night, if you have a flashlight attracts the fish. And in the daytime, fish will actually sit underneath your boat or raft in the shade. So you can fish 24 hours a day if you have the flashlight and if you were able to make the hook.
That's cool.
Or lure. It's not just a hook, it's a lure. So shiny piece of metal spinning around and stuff looks like something to eat, and they will eat it. You don't have to have stinky bait on it. All right. So I got another one for you, Jay. I'm going to send to you.
Aaron Ralston.
Aaron
Ralston.
Ralston. I think it's Aaron Ralston.
Aaron.
Aaron. It's a superhero name. Perfect. There you go, Jay. I'll let you have at it.
Ooh. But this next story is Aaron Ralston. Ralston. Ralston will forever be known as the guy who cuts his hand off to escape a climbing incident that left him trapped between two boulders.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ralston was climbing in Blue John Canyon in Utah alone. As he shimmied down a canyon, a boulder came loose and trapped Ralston's hand. No one knew he was there, and he only had a little bit of water and a little bit of food. Just a little bit. It was up to him to rescue himself. He struggled for 3 days before deciding to self-amputate in order to extricate himself. Basically, to free himself. But after 2 days of trying various methods, he nearly gave up. At this point, he was out of water and surviving on his own urine. Flashback to R. Kelly. That is until an idea came to him on day 6. He could amputate a portion of his own arm much easier if he could only break his radius and ulna? Where the hell is that? Is that like the collarbone area? Shoulder?
I'm not sure. I thought he just cut his wrist off or his hand.
Huh. What's a portion of his arm?
Oh, break his radius and ulna. Let me look real quick. I'll look.
Yeah.
Keep reading.
Well, after an hour of work with a cheap multi-tool, aka Swiss Army knife, he had amputated his hand successfully and had to still get back to his vehicle, ascending a 56-foot wall with one hand. He was eventually discovered by a European family on a campout, and 6 hours after his self-amputation, he was rescued by authorities. He was found just in time. Ralston was on the brink of death from blood loss. Dun dun dun.
So he saved himself by cutting his damn wrist off. So the ulna is the whole large underbone of your forearm. Like that connects to your elbow. So that bone, I'm guessing right where his wrist is, that round bone on the back side of your hand on the side of your where your pinky is. Yeah, you had to break that. Probably to get it to shift off of his damn wrist bone. That hurt. I wasn't there and I didn't do it, but I can tell you guys right now that that probably hurt.
Yeah.
But that's one of the psychological parts too, that goes with the whole mental, like, stability or ability to focus on survival. Like when an animal gets trapped by a rock, or I don't know, when people put chains on them or tie them to stuff. A lot of animals will do the instinctual thing, which is like chew their leg off or chew whatever it is that's tied to it. You know, that's why like a lot of dogs with leashes and stuff, they'll chew the leash. But a lot of those same dogs, if you tied it to their leg and they couldn't chew the leash off, they chew their leg off. Tons of animals do this, and that's why you'll every once in a while in the wild you see like one-legged animals. And I think we'd all be surprised too at what animals will do it. It's not even just like carnivores. Like you'll see leaf eaters out there chewing their leg off to survive. You got to do what you got to do. So here's for that was some information about how to survive if you have an injury in the wild as well. So John McPherson, who teaches survival skills to the U.S. Army Special Operations Command instructors, he says that without clean water, if I had a gash or cut on my body that my pecker could reach, I'd pee on it. Urine is sterile, but not a disinfectant. So you always got to clean the wound. If you don't have clean water, even lake water, you know, who knows what's in it. Even if you could drink it, you don't know if it's that clean or if it'll give you an infection. Last thing you want in a survival situation is an infection. The last thing you want to do is bandage up a wound, let it heal, and then realize it's infected. Then you got to tear it back open again and clean it out. So, yeah, I guess urine. I guess if you ever get hurt in the wild, first thing you should do is just pee on it to clean it.
Put some R. Kelly on that shit.
Some more R. Kelly. It's just brought to you today by R. Kelly. It's bringing you these pee stories. Oh, so there's a living cactus bandage that if you're in the desert, you could use the prickly pear, which is a cactus with round pads that contain astringent and antiseptic qualities. Take one of the pads, then peel it, and then put its raw flesh over the wound and bandage it to help healing. So those
aren't those the ones you can eat also or chew?
Probably.
Uh-huh.
I think most of them you can fucking chew.
Yeah, to get the water out.
Water out of them and stuff. Yeah. And also, so like with survivals, like if you're going out in the woods camping or hiking, this is also one of those things to put in a good little go bag, which is it's a Ziploc bag just full of clean water, sterile clean water. And you just take the bag of water, the Ziploc bag, you poke a pin-sized hole in it and then squeeze the water to be able to clean your wound with it. And so that's more like for a short term going out, you know, if you get hurt, you gotta do something. Shit, I'd throw in painkillers too, or something like that. Also Epipens. I always thought too, like with, you know, fake adrenaline, because a lot of people break their leg or back out in the woods and they got to get out or they're going to die. Maybe a shot.
Do you stab your leg with that, the Epipens?
I think typically or in the arm. But there's also fuck isn't don't they stab it in the heart sometimes too? Like if the people are like the heart stops or something.
I seen that in a movie.
I've seen that in a movie too, so don't take my word for it.
Yeah, I think there is.
Movies would never lie to you, Jay.
Oh no, I think there is a shot that you take it in the heart, but I think that's
Yeah.
when you're like dying kind of thing.
Yeah. That's what I meant, like if the heart stops to boost it back up, but that's what defibrillators are for. And caskets. But pine sap is also a natural antiseptic. Says London uses balsam fir resin, balsam fir resin if you can find it, because it's runny and easy to apply. There are lumps on a tree that look like pimples. Pop the lump like a boil, and the antiseptic runs like honey. So good to know. Pine sap. Probably not on every tree, but I'm guessing most trees that were around here in the US. So that's a good one. Sap can actually be used as all sorts of stuff, and it's a really great fire starter. That's used for like, pretty sure it's used for like chapped lips, all sorts of stuff. And then super glue too, for a good go bag or permanent survival, would be getting super glue. And it's pretty much liquid stitches.
And we should talk about like go bags, like small bags for
We
survival
should.
that you keep in your car. It's like the
Oh, right.
like
the
a emergency
quick ones.
bag. Yeah.
Definitely one of those solar blankets.
Oh yeah, those aluminum.
Yeah, a few of them actually, because you could use that, as in the story earlier, to make that solar still. But yeah, getting a few of them is good. Also, they're super reflective. So if you're lost and trying to get a helicopter, airplane to see you or anything like that, that's a way to do it. Plus to keep you warm. What else do you think should go in one of those little car bags?
You know those small first aid kits,
Oh yeah.
like a basic first aid kit.
Mhm.
No needle, no scissors, just something to bandage up your wound.
Right.
Have any?
A little saline, some.
Yeah. If you can get the bigger kits with the needles and scissors and whatnot, good, but it gets bigger and heavier, right? The bigger you
Mhm.
get. At least the basic ones with a roll of bandages,
Mm-hmm.
some alcohol pads, antiseptic gel, band-aids,
Mm-hmm.
just the basics.
The basics
That-
for stuff.
Yeah, that would be useful.
And then probably flashlights, maybe one of those ones that you spin, the little generator ones or whatever, that you can hand wheel and they light up.
I was thinking shake light, but
Or the shake light.
Yeah,
I think
you
they're kind of it's the same concept. Something whatever
shaking.
people can find.
Gonna be shaking that all night.
Just a shake weight flashlight. Remember
Oh
those
no, it's
shake
dying.
weights?
The light's dying. Come on, shake it.
Told you to go to bed. Stop shaking your flashlight. It's not the flashlight. Oh, some fucking food would be great. Probably more important even than food would be either one of those little tube things that you can drink straight out of like dirty water with the filters.
Oh, life straw.
Yeah, the
I think
life
it's life straw.
straws.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the pills, I'd say. And probably one of those military grade, either MREs, like a few of them, or a couple of those bricks. I got a couple of those thick bricks that last 3 days or whatever of food.
Yeah. What? 3,000 calories in one bag.
Yeah, something like that. stupid amount of calories. It'll like make you fat. People are the reviews on it. People are like, this is not a pro or like a nutritional bar. Stop fucking eating it like one. Because they're like, it has too much calories. They don't realize what it is. Fire starter, I'd say. Which perfect fire starter too is just get a Ziploc bag and put dryer lint in it. Is a really good one. Probably a compass for those of everyone if they don't have an internal compass.
Regarding the fire starters, I've
Uh-huh.
recently seen one where you take those round cotton pads,
Mm-hmm.
soak them in like lighter fluid, just a good soaking, and you get those those small candles that you buy in bulk at Sam's Club or
He like
Costco.
candles.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
I just bought like a box of 80 of this.
Oh, so what you're gonna do is melt the candles into liquid wax. You take those pads
Mm-hmm.
and separate them from each other. They're still soaked in lighter fluid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you basically pour the wax all over the pad on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And basically once it's dry, you can tear them apart like normal cotton pads, and they're waterproof. And once you light them up, they'll instantly light and stay lit because they're soaked in lighter fluid. And the wax keeps that lighter fluid cotton ball mixture intact. So if you're trying to light a fire in the rain, it will stay lit.
Gotcha. It'll probably help burn more wet stuff too.
Yeah.
I think this
What-
is a good idea. This whole bag idea. Because each time we could come up with new stuff to put in that bag.
Yeah.
But we're trying to keep it small. A small bag you could have in your car.
Yeah, you can put it under your seat or keep it in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't have to be big.
No, it's the
it-
last resort bag.
Yeah, it should be small, compact, light. So it's one of those, oh shit, I need this,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll have it kind of thing.
Right. You could survive a few days easily with it. Or at least get yourself set up to survive. Huh. Yeah. Personal locator beacon would be good, but I'm not sure it should go into that bag. Because they are pretty expensive. And it's like one of those things you'd want to carry with you a lot. So this bag could be like a oh shit bag.
Yeah.
Very good idea. I'm gonna throw in small hatchet into the bag. That's what I'm gonna throw into the bag. And rope. Small rope.
I would say depending where you live,
Mm-hmm.
substitute the hatchet for a knife that's longer than a blade that's longer than 6 inches, like a survival knife. Because not everyone will be situated close to some sort of wooded area.
Mm-hmm.
Could be like in the city going out into the country, which there might not be wood. There might just be like flat land,
Mm-hmm.
grass area. So a knife would be a good alternative.
Right. Or a longer one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If you only have a kitchen knife, that's good. Just wrap it up so you don't get cut. wrap the blade and put it into the bag.
Right. Hatchet or blade? That's a good idea. That's good. Yeah, depending on where people live. That's where we should do it too, at different angles.
Yeah.
Of where people are. And because I mean also like a little handsaw you'd want to, but we gotta pick one each. You know what I mean? For each bag.
Yeah.
For each bag at different locations. We got something fucking figured out here, man. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So let's do the bag in this one for what do you say? Pick an area. Pick a type of situation or type of location.
Okay, so this will be more common. So you're just say in California, you're not really in the city, but you're in the suburbs.
Uh-huh.
You gotta get out.
Can't get out because the traffic's too full and all you got is the main freeways. Boom. There's our situation.
Yeah. Well, in California, you have the roads. You don't want to stick to the roads.
Mm-hmm. And the cities are in fucking fire because of riots and people losing their fucking minds.
They don't have a lot of wooded areas, right? They do, but not a
Well,
whole
Northern
bunch.
California does. They could get out of there, you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but other than the wooded areas, you got desert. You got whatever farmland they have.
Well, let's say they're trying to leave the city and all of a sudden they can't go anymore and they can't turn around because the city's fucking like people are going fucking crazy.
Anarchy.
Yeah. And all of a sudden they're out of roads to go. They're far enough outside of the city that that's not going to be a problem. So they stop their car because they can't go any further. And then they walk off the road into small little wilderness area off the side of the road. What would they need for the night? And they don't want to stay in their car for some reason. Being that more people are coming, who knows what's going to happen. Let's say it's a female too. Small female, so she's definitely not staying in the car. What do you think she'd need?
That's hard.
I'm going to go with your knife.
Yeah.
Let's take guns out of this situation. I'm going to go with your knife.
Yeah.
Let's go with, say, lighters. This is a short-term situation. We got the blankets in there.
Yeah.
Let's say there's bottled water. So we don't need the water things. And there's no source to get water at the moment. Let's say she's just going to have to travel walking, but going to have to sleep at night. So.
Right. But I don't know. At night, you're gonna attract attention. If you don't want to be attracting attention.
Well, you could have a small fire. And plus, most like what everyone else is going to do in the dark is sleeping. They're not hunting for. They're just, you know what I mean? Yeah, it could attract attention or may want to attract attention. You know what I mean? Like a flare gun. Or flares. Flares is probably a good idea, just in case. That's a good way to start a fire too.
Yeah, actually, technically you should have flares in your car, right?
In your car all the time. So let's go with that. If someone doesn't have flares in their car, get flares for the bag. At least.
Solar blanket.
Solar blanket, matches, flares, enough food for, protein bars. Let's throw that in there.
Peanut butter. Has to be peanut butter.
Oh, I love peanut butter. That's going to give her the shits on this journey, but it's going to be delicious.
It's going to keep her full.
Yeah, and it's going to keep her fucking caloried up too. Yeah. What else would you think, Jay?
I think that would be the absolute minimum.
Well, I'd say a like a metal container, like a cup with a lid. Like some sort of metal container, you know what I mean? That way to be able to get water if she came to a place to get water. Or if people could fit a small, like if you could get a container of some sort that was cast iron too. So then you could cook the water on that as well.
Don't people travel with those quick water containers, or they just fill up water or fill up soda in them and then take them on trips?
Like the bigger ones.
Like the small compact ones.
Small
Like normally it you want to put like coffee in it.
Yeah. That's what I
So
was thinking of. One of the metal ones. But if you could get one that you could even like light a fire under.
Or you can boil it, yeah.
Right.
Boil water.
I'd say bug spray too, since we're in fucking California. And I'm guessing it's not winter. I'm just gonna say in the middle of summer. I'll say some fucking bug spray.
It has to be a really small bottle because
Yeah.
not everyone will think about getting a bug spray and put it into their bag.
Right. Well, here's
Um,
one too. Sunscreen.
I can see that, but people can survive without sunscreen. It's just you're gonna have blisters and sunburned.
Well, we don't know how long she's walking for.
Well,
that
you could use
California
the
heat.
solar blanket in substitute. Just drape it over her head. It'll
It's
keep
gonna
out the
be
heat.
fucking hot.
Keep out the heat because it's reflective.
Yeah.
And if she's trying to be found, it's gonna reflect off the sun pretty good.
So I'd say like a fucking sweatshirt or something in the car too. Because if it was super
Extra
stupid
clothes.
hot, you could like dunk water in it. Or I've seen that one survival guy pee on it, wrap it around his head to keep him cool in the desert.
Damn it, R. Kelly.
I know there's another one. Pee's gonna come up a lot in this series. I know it is. Fuck. But there we go for that one. I think we should end it there for this one. We got a whole nother we're gonna continue this. We're gonna get these down, and we will see where we'll end up finishing hers on the next one and then starting a new one. So thank you, everybody. This is the Collective Minds Podcast, episode 20. Thank you, Jay and Willis, for being here. Y'all have a good one. We are out. If you like this, make sure to like and subscribe for more breakdowns brought to you by the Collective Minds Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, and anywhere else you like to stream from. Check us out.